Alright, in this next video, we're gonna go ahead and fix the orientation of our joints. Keep in mind that when we select any of the joints, if you hit Ctrl A, you get access to the attribute editor, or you can just click on the tab. Now, the idea here is that we have our orientations as constant as possible. So notice the following, my Y, my X, and my Z, right? Now, notice how each one of these, as far as the orientation go, is facing a different orientation than, let's say, this one. Notice how the X, being the red, here is forward. The X here is going sideways. The X here is going downwards. What this means is that we have very messy orientations, and what we want to do is create these joint orients as consistent as possible. So therefore, here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be recreating this area. So let's go ahead and grab here the foot joint and do Shift P. Now this breaks that chain, and we're going to delete those two. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab this, and in joint orient, we're going to zero this out. This orientation is always going to be influenced by the orientation above, and now you start noticing how the X, being the red, is pointing down, and over here it's also pointing down, and even when we grab this one, the thigh one, is also pointing down. So all this looks correct. However, now as we move here, we still want to keep some sort of consistency, so we're going to create a new chain. And we're going to do this using the side view. Go for your skeleton and do create joints. And we're going to grab these joints and create it right here on the side. So we're just going to click the one time. Great. And now we can actually move this someplace here. And we're going to continue. When I select that, I want to create another joint down here and yet another one at the very end. Now we're going to come back here and now reorient each one of these. So let's go ahead and zero this one out. Now we're going to grab this joint and we're going to make sure that we zero it out as well. Now notice how when I change that value, it completely just turns. So this means that we will just step one time back and we're going to break these connections. So therefore we're going to hold Shift P. Now notice that this connection is broken. This will allow us now into this orientation and change it. Then here we'll do -90, and here we're going to change it back to 0. Now notice that this is way much cleaner. Okay, let's go ahead and select now this ankle joint, the new one that we just created. Let's zero it out. All right, great. And once it's zeroed out, the next thing we're going to do is to now reestablish the connection. So first we grab the child, then we shift select the parent, hit the letter P. Notice how my orientations has stuck together, kind of following, right? Notice how my axis now, the X, is forward, and we'll click here. This one we still need to fix, but the rest are looking nice. When we look at this from the front, we may want to go in and actually move this into place somewhere around here. And now we can move manually this orientation. Now you can go here and holding Control and left mouse button, you can click and drag this into place. Just like so, so that it fits your character around there. I'm gonna round this number to 12. And so with a much cleaner orientation, now we can snap these two joints into place. We can do so by holding down V, so you can go to the side view. Actually, it's gonna be a little easier there. Hold down V as in Victor, and let's go ahead and snap that into place, just like so. You can also go back to the channel box, and maybe we can decrease the radius of the all anchor joint. Let's set it to 1, so that is going to be easier for us to now select the new ankle joint that we just created. And you can increase this number if you want to. Let's go into the attribute editor for the all anchor joint. Make sure it's set to 0. Great. And now this new ankle joint, let's go ahead and 0 that out as well. And because of my foot being slightly skewed, I will need to actually just add that value back. And ultimately, this is what you do to keep things very clean. Lastly, let's go ahead and fix this real quick. Let's do Shift P. Let's fix the orientation. Now we're gonna set this up to be -90, so that our Z is facing forward, and that is consistent with this one. At this point, we're gonna go ahead, select the child, Shift, select the parent, click P. You would see that our orientations now is much cleaner. Lastly, let's go ahead and repeat that. So now what we want to do is we want to go in and grab that joint 3 and have that joint 4 be the child, Shift, joint 3, and hit P. Now this will be perfect, as we now have the X orientation, forward, X orientation forward, X orientation forward. And it's all under now one joint chain. Very good. Up next, we're going to start labeling each one of these joints.